Maybe you vaguely remember what you were doing in August 2021, but if you'd been in Afghanistan, you'd remember exactly where you were.
At this hour, the Kabul airport is shut down. No flights, commercial or military, are leaving or landing.
Tens of thousands of Afghan civilians are scrambling to get out of the country. Among them are Christian believers who face certain death.
When the last airplane left Afghanistan, I said, yeah, okay, it's over. Probably God wants us to die here.
In all the news that followed after the Taliban takeover, there was this one online report from Voice of America. It was May 2022, and a Taliban spokesman declared there are no Christians in Afghanistan. Was this true? Is it true now? To find out, we have to talk to an Afghan Christian who was there when it all went down and who knows what's happening now.
I'm Ramazan Rafi. I'm from Afghanistan. I was born in devout Muslim family. They were mullah, we call mullah. And they applied Sharia. Whatever Sharia tells you, they applied that. They were radical and they wanted me to be a radical Muslim as well.
Jamie, so you interviewed Ramazan. What first jumped out to you about his story?
Well, I thought it was interesting that he had become a Christian in a country that's 99% Muslim, and that he had found God through doubting. And that was a problem in one of the most Muslim nations on earth, with a father who was one of the most devout imams in town.
In Islam, they give you a boundary. If you would walk other side of that red line, then they label you as infidel. I had a lot of questions about the nature of God, human suffering, and my people, they suffered a lot. Around 60 to 62% of Hazara people died, they're killed by the authorities. But those authorities, they were Muslim as well. So all of these questions came together. And in that moment, I insulted Muhammad, I insulted Quran, I insulted Allah. According to Islamic Sharia, that if a Muslim would come to Christ or any other religion, then you have to die. You have to be killed. Especially from my father, he had a rifle, and he took his rifle and he said, "I will kill you."
Wait, so this is his father?
Yeah, this was his father. I mean, remember, apostasy from Islam is punishable by death in this region, and apparently his father was prepared to carry that out, even against his own son. But at this point, Ramazan wasn't saying he believed in Christianity, he was saying he didn't believe in Islam.
So it sounds like Ramazan had crossed that red line.
Yeah, he definitely did. I mean, it was a pretty dramatic moment for his whole family.
And my mother jumped in, and she said, "First kill me and then Ramazan." I left my home and I traveled with the motorbike to Kabul.
So what's next for Ramazan?
Yeah, well, at this point, he's still searching. He can't quite give up on the idea of a creator. So he starts looking into other religions. You know, what does Buddhism say? How about Sikhism? And then one day he gets another idea. Maybe I should read the Bible.
All right, but that doesn't sound easy. I mean, could you even find a Bible in Afghanistan?
Well, I mean, not easily. I mean, you certainly can't just go and buy one. And the fact that Ramazan couldn't find a Bible only made him want to read it more.
You can find Hitler's book, but you cannot find Bible. Is it that much bad? I thought there was something going on. Let me find it. And one day I was in a net cafe in Kabul, and when I saw this guy, and he had an Afghan clothes, but yeah, I realized he's not Afghan. Immediately I asked him, I want a Bible. I knew that was weird for him to know that, am I true or not? And he told me tomorrow, 1:30, be here at the same location.
So this is actually something that happens a lot in places where Christians are persecuted, and you're not sure if you trust the other guy, right? And I guess that's what's happening right now. Neither guy knows if the other one is potentially a threat.
That's exactly right. But amazingly, it turns out this foreigner was a Christian and he did have access to a Bible. He's still not sure if this is a trap, but he takes the risk. And the next day, he hands Ramazan a New Testament and agrees to read it with him in secret.
It's amazing to see how God can use one guy and a Bible to bring someone new to the faith. But in a country with no churches, where Christianity is essentially illegal, what do you do with that new believer? What does a new Christian do?
Well, they start doing what they find in the Bible. Little by little, they pray, they read the scriptures, they worship, they seek Christ, and they start telling other people about Jesus.
When God saved me in 2009, I was on fire. I shared the gospel with my family, with friends and classmates. In about a year, we were 12 individuals and 2 families. They came to Christ. And the interesting part, this missionary brother, he left the country. When he left the country, I was alone with a bunch of people whom don't know what to do.
So what was the rest of the religious landscape looking like at this point? Were these the only Christians in the city?
No, they weren't the only ones. There was a small underground network of Christians that had already been forming, and now it was growing. Of course, that made things even more dangerous, especially for house church leaders.
That was not easy. In 2014, a friend of mine, they had a house church. Taliban attacked his house and killed him, his son, his daughter, and destroyed everything. That was not easy. This fear affects people. But at the same time, when you're thirsty, it is not matter that what will happen. What is the next stop? I know it is dangerous. I know it is hard for me and for my family, but it is worth it.
So is this just what life as a Christian in Afghanistan is like? Just always staying hidden, always just off the radar screen?
Well, yes and no. They were careful about where they met, they were taking precautions, but they weren't hiding their Christian faith at all costs. In fact, some of them even claimed Christianity on their national identity cards.
There was 2 categories, Islam and Sikh. We applied for that ID card to write Christian. It was dangerous. If you would have Christian in your ID card, you cannot open a bank account, you cannot buy a house, you cannot rent a house.
So these guys register as Christians on their official ID cards without realizing what's about to happen to their entire country in less than a year.
So I'm guessing this brings us back to the Taliban takeover in 2021.
Yeah, this is what Ramazan calls Afghanistan's darkest moment.
In August 14, I was sitting in a net cafe with another friend, and then I saw the news. Taliban took Mazar-e-Sharif. It's finished, it's over. Tomorrow they will be in Kabul. Next day, and everything was different. When I woke up, I never forget that moment. I kissed my wife and 2 little kids, and I thought, okay, maybe today is our last day.
This sounds wild.
Yeah, the Taliban makes a sweep across the country and seizes control of the capital in just a matter of days.
My wife called me and she said, "Where are you? Taliban is here." And I tried to assure that everything is okay. And some of our church members, they came to my house and they deleted everything. They evacuated all the theological books, like in my laptop and the flash drives. And Taliban were there. And it was like a movie, chaos, people running everywhere and you don't know what will happen.
So in Kabul, people are totally panicked. Thousands rush to the airport trying to flee the country. Some are so desperate to escape, they actually hang on to moving airplanes. It's just this really awful scene.
Man, what are Christians thinking at this point?
They're thinking, if they find us, we're dead. And remember, for some of them, their names are literally on file as Christians.
An Afghan pastor and a friend, they came to pick up me and my family. We got out of our home. That afternoon, my wife asked me, what will happen? In that moment, something stopped me this question, it is not for only today or tomorrow. It is for tomorrow's years. What will happen? In that moment, I replied, I don't know.
Ramazan is describing here just complete uncertainty. But at this time, like, what's happening outside Afghanistan? Like, is anyone trying to help?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, friends from all over the world are working basically nonstop to try to get Afghan Christians out of the country. But it's agonizing. Some groups are getting out, others aren't. Those left behind have to keep moving, they keep getting threats. There's this terrible bombing at the airport that Ramazan and some of the other believers just barely miss.
So Ramazan didn't get out in that initial push.
No, in fact, weeks go by and it seems like door after door after door is closing.
For 36 days, we've been in Afghanistan and we were changing our locations, and I was asking God, like, I was fighting with him. When the last airplane left Afghanistan, I said, okay, it's over. Probably God wants us to die here. The only thing I was praying that Taliban, when they take us, they would shoot to all of us, not only shoot at me and take my wife and kids and as hostage. And
it's hard to even imagine coming to a place where you find yourself praying that for your own family. Like, how do you deal with that kind of pressure?
Well, Ramazan says he wrestled with God a lot during those weeks. He had nights of crying out, "Where are you?" Like the disciples on the boat in the storm, just crying out to Jesus for help.
I mean, I'm definitely an understandable reaction.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. But Ramazan also found Jesus calming his soul.
I never forget the song that Christ will hold me fast. Listening at that, and Christ will hold me fast. And and then I was thinking, okay, God, I will trust in you.
Eventually, slowly, things did begin to shift.
A security team took us from Kabul to the north of Afghanistan. We passed 9 checkpoints during the night. So after 36 days, we left Afghanistan to Qatar. And I remember when I passed Iran and we were at top of Ras Al Khaimah in UAE, and I laid down and I said, it's over. And when I was landing in Qatar, in Doha, I was reading Psalm 18. God, you're my rock.
And there's so many turns in the story. Like Ramazan and his family, they end up in Qatar at first, but what about the others? Where did they end up?
Well, they kind of scattered. Some went to neighboring countries, some went to the US or other nations. So there's basically this diaspora of Afghan Christians around the world. And they're still active. I mean, some are planting Afghan churches, others have become part of existing churches, but all of them think about believers still in Afghanistan.
And I guess that brings us back to this declaration from the Taliban saying that there's no Christians in Afghanistan. Jimmy, like, what do we know about believers there today?
Well, we know they're still there. It's a small number. It's definitely fewer than before the Taliban takeover, but there are still Christians in Afghanistan. We also know there are new Christians in Afghanistan, people who have come to faith after the Taliban takeover. And that's really remarkable. I mean, it's maybe more dangerous than ever to be a Christian in Afghanistan, and yet people are still coming to Christ.
Why do you think that is? Why would the most persecuted religion be drawing new people in?
Sometimes it starts as disillusionment with life under the Taliban. I mean, that can create an openness to the gospel, but also the Spirit just moves. I think about Ramazan saying that when you're that hungry and that thirsty for Christ, fear doesn't control you. You know it's dangerous, but you know it's worth it.
So how does the church function in this kind of climate?
Well, it's hard. Believers are isolated. It's extremely dangerous to gather in any way. Most don't gather. They can connect online. We have partners who offer discipleship and prayer and training online, and who also hope and pray for a time when believers can gather. And we know of people who long to be baptized, people who long to just meet another believer in person. Now, again, this isn't a revival, it's not huge numbers, but it is a remnant, and it's a remnant that, by God's grace, still grows.
He is the one who gave you that energy, who gave you that strength to stay fast and strong in your faith and walk with Him. And sometimes I'm thinking that when we've been in Afghanistan, we were spending more time together to pray, to worship, to talk, and to encourage each other, and to see how God is moving the puzzles in our life, like in every small things, and that was encouraging us. And here, really, I have that such an experience, but not as much as I was in that kind of situation. And I'm thinking, okay, God, I think it's much better to be in that kind of situation, to see you, how you are interacting with your children. So, yeah.